Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and welcome back to The Division 2. Today we're going to be taking a look at a wildly potent build. If you've been out of the loop, a major update dropped for the game this week that brought plenty of new things, but it also delivered a major rebalancing to a lot of the game's old weaponry, gear, talents, and more. And so, what I figured would be fun is to start this new little mini-series. I don't know how many I'll do, this could be the only one, or maybe one or two more. But basically dive into these Resolve builds where I revisit old build concepts that have been buffed or significantly changed by Project Resolve and this latest update, and showcase their new potential. And that's exactly what we're doing today. I want to show off what has for a long time been a player favorite close quarter combat build, an excellent option for sustain and overall solo play. But thanks to some of the buffs and rebalances made with Resolve, it's now even stronger. So that's what we're going to do, break down the build and highlight the specific changes made and show off some gameplay in its full glory. For future reference, over these coming days and weeks, who knows, if you see me mark a video as a Resolve build in the title, that means that it's one of these where we're revisiting some old classics brought up to new heights by the update. And if you have any suggestions of builds you think I should check out under that umbrella, certainly leave them down in the comments below. But that's enough of that. This video is all about Intimidate and CQC domination. Let's take a look at the build, and that'll be sure to drop some fully uninterrupted gameplay at the end. And if you like the build, the video presentation, my voice, literally if you just feel like being an awesome person, be sure to subscribe for more. Alright, anyway, let's go. Alright, and so this is the build that we're looking at. Again, it may look similar to stuff that you've seen before, and that's because these staples were already quite solid before this update, but because of some of those big buffs and reworks that we talked about, this is that much more lethal now. Getting into it for our primary, we've got the MP7. Now, the usage of this gun in this update is very gratifying for me. I've always loved this gun ever since, the beginnings of the Division 1, I would say. And in Division 2, it was always good, but it was never like that top tier contender, even though I thought it was quite underrated. But with the changes it's received with this update and Project Resolve, I think from some of the charts I've seen, it is one of, if not the top high-end SMG options right now in the game, so that is super awesome. What they did was they gave it a 50 RPM bump, so now it sits at 1000 by base, and they also increased its base damage by 5%. So in combination, those two things just make this gun that much more powerful, and you can definitely see that translate in the gameplay. I've got rolled damage charts out of cover, and those things are all maxed out, and then I've got close and personal, which I don't see it used very often across a lot of builds, but I think specifically for a Hunter's Fury setup where you're right in the enemy's face, this ends up being very useful, and I really like how it plays in. Of course, you could run something else like Strained, even though you go through, your mag quite quickly. You go with Killer, something like that. But I personally think you should try out Close and Personal. And then for the mods in there, I just have 2 crit damage ones and 1 crit chance. Then for your secondary, you can run whatever you want. I got the Scorpio because it's a fantastic gun, as I think everyone knows. And Hunter's Fury gives you that damage buff to shotguns. The sidearm here, totally up to you. Then moving on to the gear, we have 4 pieces of the Hunter's Fury gear set. Now again, this has received no changes other than a slight reduction to health on kill. For this update, right, it acts the exact same as before, and it's already been incredibly good. It gives you big buffs to shotguns and SMGs. Basically, when you're within 15 meters of an enemy, they'll get a red mark above their head. That means that you're dealing 20% amplified damage to them. That is a lot. And then when you kill that enemy, not only does it disorient all other nearby enemies, so you have an even extended damage window, but it also then builds up stacking damage that you can see on your HUD. So this set for close quarter combat is about as good as it gets. It's really good for self-sustain and solo play, and that all remains the exact same with this update. And then on here, we have weapon damage, crit damage, and a crit chance mod. Then for the chest piece, we have one of 2 pieces of Sokolov Concern. This is of course about the best brand you can go for SMGs. Gives us that SMG damage and 15% crit damage. On here we've got weapon damage, crit chance, and a crit damage mod with Intimidate. Now this is the other item that we talked about that got a big buff and rework this season. Something to keep in mind, however, is that it's not actually displaying correctly currently in the game, at least the text format here, because it says that you gain 1 stack per second up to a max of 9, but if you look at the patch notes for this update, what it should say is that you gain 3 stacks per second up to a maximum of 9. Now originally Intimidate way back in the day gave you all of the damage instantly, then I think it was in TU15 in Season 9 they reworked it so it had to ramp up over time and you kind of built up to that maximum damage potential, and now they've met it somewhere in the middle where you only need to have bonus armor for 3 seconds to reach that maximum damage cap of 36%. And really what this does is obviously gets you to the damage quicker, but it also reduces the risk of losing it, right? If you get shot by an enemy, you have more time to deal damage, right? And that's what this is all about. And just to quickly show you here exactly how it's working, if I bring this target close, just so you can see the full damage ramp up and you know that the text is wrong, we hit that and you watch at the bottom corner there of the HUD, the little tiger icon, that thing filled up super quick. So we'll let Bloodsucker go away again, that's the little spider icon. And then if we shoot this guy again, watch the tiger, In that 3 seconds, you ramp up all the way, and I have 36% extra damage from Intimidate while that bonus armor is active. That's why this is so good. And again, keep in mind that the localization for the text on the talent in here is currently wrong. They should fix that, I assume, in an upcoming title update. But yeah, it's Intimidate's back. It's quite strong. So we will get to exactly how we're ensuring that Intimidate has a high uptime in a moment, but just know that that is the talent you're going to want to run on here, at least if you want to experience, you know, the buffs and improvements they got with this update. Then for the holster, we have our second piece of Hunter's Fury that we already covered, armor and crit damage on there. I do have a total distribution, I should mention, of 3 armor cores and 3 red cores on here. You can do whatever you want. If you want 5 blues and a little bit less damage, you can do that. If you want to go full glass cannon on this thing, you can. That part is truly up to you. I just kind of like how the 3-3 distribution feels, but experiment as you like. Then on the backpack, second piece of Sokolov, as we talked about with those brand bonuses, weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage mod. And here is the other talent that synergizes so well, and that is Bloodsucker, in which killing an enemy adds and refreshes a stack of 10% bonus armor for 10 seconds, and the max stack is 10. So this just works very well with the overall Hunter's Fury playstyle, because if you're able to shoot an enemy and you automatically get the bonus armor, and then within 3 seconds you get your maximum Intimidate damage, and when you kill that enemy with Hunter's Fury, if you're within the 15 meters, it disorients all nearby ones, giving you that time to build up the damage, and then you basically just keep going. So it all flows together super well. You can see this happening within the gameplay, and yeah, you can run something like Adrenaline Rush here if you want, because that will also give you bonus armor to activate Intimidate. I just think Bloodsucker is a bit more reliable, and you have a bit more consistency in how often Intimidate will be up. But yeah, feel free to choose there as you like. Moving on to the gloves, third piece of Hunter's Fury, armor and crit chance on there. And lastly, for the knee pads, final piece, armor and crit damage on there. And just to look at our total crit distribution, we have 58 and 147, which is quite solid for a gear set build like this. Very quickly, to go over the skills, I'm using the Banshee Pulse, which you get exclusively from running the Gunner specialization. I love this thing, works very well with how I play, but you could very well also use like a half shield if you want a bit more protection, maybe with the firewall one, so you get even more damage there, totally up to you. And then I just have the Revive 5 on for that extra little safety net. And lastly, as I said, Gunner specialization, this works very well with these types of builds. You get armor on kill, you get extra rate fire on kill, you get some ammo back, a lot of bonuses that play in well there, but at the end of the day, up to you, mix and match as you like. And there you go, folks. Resolve build 1 of who knows how many is done. I definitely wanted to dedicate some time to showing this one off. The changes to Intimidate specifically just seem too good, and as I mentioned, very stoked about the MP7's revival personally. But yeah, it seems like my suspicions were indeed accurate. This setup shreds to an even higher degree than it already did, so it's a lot of fun to run, and I hope anyone who tries it out feels the same. Let me know your thoughts, comments, questions, whatever you got down below. And that's all I've got for today, everybody. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Out.
Detecting additional hostile contacts. Hostiles guarding location nearby.